Throughout history, thriving civilizations understood that fertile soil was the foundation of survival. Farmers, soldiers, and homesteaders all knew that without living soil, there could be no harvest, no bread, no stability. One of the most reliable allies in restoring soil health has always been the earthworm. These humble creatures were once called the plows of the earth, and for good reason. They worked tirelessly underground, breaking down organic matter, creating channels for air and water, and leaving behind castings so rich in nutrients that they outperform many modern fertilizers. The question many gardeners face today is simple. How can you restore soil naturally and attract these soil engineers back into your garden without expensive products or chemicals? The answer lies in timeless natural practices that mirror what people have been doing for centuries. Earthworms only thrive in living organic-rich soils. The first step in understanding how to attract earthworms is to realize that they will not appear in lifeless or compacted ground. If soil is treated heavily with synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, or left bare, worms avoid it. They require a steady supply of decomposing organic matter to survive. Gardeners who complain about not finding worms in their plots often overlook this fact. Worms only come where food and shelter are abundant. In healthy soils rich in decaying plant matter, worms multiply rapidly. To restore soil, one must provide these conditions, essentially turning the garden into a buffet for worms. One of the most effective ways to draw worms into your garden is through mulching with natural materials. Grass clippings, shredded leaves, and even damp cardboard provide the perfect blend of food and protection. The mulch shields the soil from the sun, traps moisture, and softens the surface, creating the moist environment worms crave. A proven method is layering. Lay a thin sheet of damp cardboard over the soil, then add 2 inches of fresh grass clippings and finally top with a light cover of dried leaves. Within weeks, worms will burrow up to feed, gradually turning the surface layer into nutrient-rich humus. This method was practiced long before chemical fertilizers, and it remains just as effective today. Worms breathe through their skin, which means they need consistent moisture to survive. Soil that dries out or becomes waterlogged drives them away. In raised beds and garden plots alike, maintaining a balance is key. Mulch plays a role here, but gardeners must also be mindful of watering. A soil that stays slightly damp, never cracked and dry, becomes a permanent home for earthworms. A practical approach is to water lightly every 2 or 3 days in hot weather, allowing the mulch to hold that moisture in. This practice mirrors what farmers once did in wartime gardens, when careful water use was critical, but soil health had to be preserved. Instead of discarding kitchen scraps, they can be used to attract worms directly to the garden. Chopped vegetable waste, fruit peels, and coffee grounds are excellent worm food when buried just under the mulch layer. This method creates feeding pockets where worms gather, breaking the material down quickly and enriching the surrounding soil. For example, burying a handful of chopped cabbage leaves or potato peels beneath a layer of grass clippings creates a hotspot of worm activity within days. The secret lies in moderation. Small amounts spread across the bed work better than dumping large piles that might rot too quickly or attract pests. Restoring soil is not just about adding the right things but also avoiding the wrong ones. Synthetic chemicals, especially pesticides and high-salt fertilizers, create hostile conditions for worms. Even heavy tilling can destroy their tunnels and expose them to predators. To build worm populations naturally, the soil must be treated gently. No-dig methods, where organic matter is layered on top and allowed to decompose naturally, are particularly effective. This approach mirrors the forest floor, where leaves fall and decompose year after year, and where worms thrive without disturbance. By imitating these natural cycles, gardeners provide worms with exactly what they need. When worms arrive in large numbers, their impact is visible and measurable. Their burrows aerate compacted ground, allowing roots to penetrate more easily and water to infiltrate deeply. Their castings, sometimes called black gold, are 5 times richer in nitrogen, 7 times richer in phosphorus, and 10 times richer in potassium than the surrounding soil. In practical terms, this means plants grow stronger, greener, and more resilient without reliance on costly fertilizer. A gardener who begins with hard, lifeless soil can, within a season, see dramatic improvement simply from encouraging worms to move in. This is the quiet transformation that civilizations depended on, and it remains within reach today. For those ready to restore their soil, the process is straightforward. Begin by covering your garden bed with damp cardboard sheets. Add 2 to 3 inches of fresh grass clippings or green garden trimmings, then top with an inch of dried leaves. Water until the material is evenly moist but not soggy. Every week, add small amounts of kitchen waste beneath the mulch, rotating the spots where you bury scraps. Within 2 to 3 weeks, lift a corner of the mulch and look for signs of worm activity. Over the course of a season, repeat the layering as materials decompose. By the end of the year, the soil will be darker, looser, and filled with worms. Restoring soil health and attracting earthworms doesn't require expensive amendments or complicated formulas. It really just requires a return to natural methods, adding organic matter, maintaining moisture, and avoiding practices that drive worms away. These creatures, working unseen, rebuild the soil more effectively than most human efforts can. By following these steps, any gardener can create a living, fertile ground capable of supporting abundant harvests. If you found this guide valuable, make sure to subscribe to In the Beginning and share it with others who value both history and the timeless lessons it teaches about survival and resilience. There are many more insights ahead that connect the past with the needs of today's world, and you won't want to miss them.